Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give the video a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast with you. That way others will know that we're here. Family, I'm going to get right to the point. For those of you that don't know, I'm a girl that was born and raised in what's called the deep, deep, dirty South in Mississippi, and I now live in the Wild, Wild West. I don't pretend to be some sort of strategic geopolitical expert. I am simply a prophetic voice, and when my divine spiritual counsel gives me something to say, whether I understand all the details of it or not, I say it. Of course, I do whatever independent research that I can, but that's not my main assignment. It's to bring you the truth, and it's to tell you what I feel in my spirit. And this is not about being super religious, but I'm going to leave it here, and I want you to take it as you will. Yes, I have a warning for my beloved brothers and sisters in Ethiopia and Somalia. Before I get into this particular warning, I want you to watch this clip in just a moment. It is a clip of a press briefing in Ankara of Ethiopia and Somali leaders in a joint agreement, coming to a joint agreement between their countries, Ethiopia and Somalia. Yes, we understand there has been certainly warfare and difficulty between the two. I have talked about a bit of that when I was watching some of the hearings here among some of the foreign affairs committees in the United States, and I noticed they were doing some mess making in the hearings to stir up trouble amongst those countries, as well as Eritrea. How many of you have seen some of my past coverage on Eritrea? Again, this is not because I'm some big major crazy geopolitical expert, beloved, but when my spirits get me to research and look into something, when I'm guided to do something, I obey. I want you to watch this clip.
Somalia and Ethiopia have reached a deal to end a year-long bitter dispute over a deal with the breakaway Somaliland region after talks in Ankara. Now, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has described it as a historic reconciliation. The deal signed between Somalia and Ethiopia will now pave way for technical talks by February next year. And it's expected to conclude within 4 months to try and work out a deal that would respect Somalia's territorial integrity while recognizing the potential commercial benefits of Ethiopia's access to the Red Sea. Now, Turkey has been mediating the talks since July, and this is what President Erdogan had to say about the agreement.
As a result of the confidence that Somalia and Ethiopia have in our country, we have reached an important stage in the Ankara process that we began 8 months ago. By overcoming some resentments and misunderstandings together, we have taken the first step towards a new beginning based on peace and cooperation between Somalia and Ethiopia. With the valuable contributions of both nations, we have agreed on the joint declaration we are presenting today.
Okay, family. Now, who's standing in between those two? Yes? Mr. Erdogan. Yes? I'm reading now from VOA article headline, Erdogan to visit Ethiopia and Somalia in early 2025 after brokering a deal. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will visit Ethiopia and Somalia early next year after brokering a deal to end tensions between the two Horn of Africa neighbors, he said on X Sunday. Quote, I will visit Ethiopia and Somalia in the first 2 months of the new year, he wrote in a message that referred to the deal between Ethiopia's Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, and Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed in Ankara on December 11th. That just took place, right? The pair agreed to end their nearly year-long bitter dispute after hours of talks brokered by Erdogan, who hailed the breakthrough as, quote, historic. The dispute began in January when landlocked Ethiopia struck a deal with Somalia's breakaway region, Somaliland, to lease a stretch of the coastline for a port and military base. In return, Somaliland, which declared independence from Somalia in 1991 in a move not recognized by Mogadishu, said Ethiopia would give it formal recognition, although this was never confirmed by Addis Ababa. Yes? Somalia branded the deal as a violation of its sovereignty, setting international alarm bells ringing over the risk of renewed conflict in the volatile Horn of Africa region. Now, without me even knowing a whole lot about that, what forced me to look into this last year was because our U.S. Foreign Affairs Committee kept pushing the drum bell and trying to tell us war, 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 war. And even though they had representatives from Ethiopia in particular, and even though you had some of the emissaries that says, well, we can't say specifically that he has threatened war, The Congress folks in America kept pushing that. I knew that was a warning. Well, why is Vicki warning about Somalia, and Ethiopia putting NATO Turkey in the middle of your peace business? Now, I'm not trying to beat up on Erdogan. I love that region. I look forward to traveling the world. Yes. But how many of you all know that a lot of the stuff that's happening over there in West Asia and North Africa that they call the Middle East, Turkey's name is involved in a lot of that. Turkey is a part of NATO, the West. And NATO, we know, has been mess-making, even in Africa, with the overthrow and the assassination of Gaddafi and other places around the world and involved in conflicts related to that. How many of you all know that folks are implicating Erdogan in the mess-making that's happening in the Middle East? But that's not all. This headline I'm reading to you from, that's little known by the mainstream public, says Qatar, Turkey, Europe gas pipeline could resurface after Assad's fall. Y'all see that headline? If revived, the $10 billion 1,500-kilometer pipeline could dramatically shift the balance of energy power in the region, reintroducing Qatar's natural gas into the European market through a direct pipeline instead of costly LNG shipments. Now, the question becomes, how is it that Assad is barely falling? Syria barely has fallen, and their Muslim brothers from Turkey is already sitting up there chit-chatting about reviving a pipeline? It's making folks wonder, was that a part of the problem? Was that a part of the strategy? Did that have something to do with the overthrow and the takedown of Assad? I'm not trying to get into all that. If you want to know more about that, baby, I'm going to break that down during my private, offline, free webinar that I'm doing December 22nd. If you're watching this later, the replay will be available for the students at the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. If you join for a very low monthly cost, you will have access to that and a lot of other free, high-level, life-changing metaphysical teachings. Go to VickiPlanet.com. That's my website. So how many of us knew that that was even in the works and that was something that was going on that Assad objected to, but he wanted Iran to be a part of one of the trade route agreements? Here's the other thing that's my concern and my warning to my beloved family in Somalia and Ethiopia. I know that Ethiopia is considered to be a landlocked region. I know my colleagues who actually live there know better than me. I'm just telling you what I research, what I read, and what I pull up on the map, but more importantly, what my spirits are guiding me to talk about. When I look at this agreement between Somalia and Ethiopia, that's a strategic place. According to some of my research, where Somalia is situated in particular is considered to be a strategic importance in terms of trade routes due to its geographical location in the Horn of Africa, which puts it at the intersection of the Red Sea and Indian Ocean, making it a key hub for trade between Africa, Asia, and Europe, particularly historically with access to important trade corridors and the potential to serve as a shipping and logistics hub for neighboring countries like Ethiopia. Family, my alarms went off. No, Vicki don't know this, that, and the thirds. But I'm giving my brothers and sisters a warning just in case there's something to it. Y'all know that the West is in a war for these trade routes and these value chains. I'm concerned that is Erdogan coming there because he's trying to get inside information about y'all's conflicts to make sure that y'all's drama don't spill over into the West and NATO having access to that region? Especially considering all the things that I said. How many of y'all remember hearing about a long time ago before they invaded a whole bunch of countries, a general for NATO said that Somalia was one of the 7 countries that they were looking at. And they've been mess making in Somalia for years. I can't wait to see what you got to say about it. Join my Vicki Dillard Mystery School if you want to know high level information and know stuff that you don't know. I ain't trying to pretend I know something I don't know. I want to know what your thoughts about this is. I'm just warning my brothers and sisters, don't be saying too much, don't talk too much, and don't put too many of the NATO folks in your business. I can't wait to see you again.